What if welcoming someone into your campsite was the worst mistake you would ever make, and the random stranger you offered a beer to turned around and unalived you? This is the story of Dustin Kierson. Quick disclaimer that I am not a lawyer and all this information is publicly available on the internet. Dustin Kierson was a 35-year-old dad from Belgrade, Montana. He was described by his sister as a loving and adoring father. He was an avid outdoorsman and a construction contractor. He was no stranger to the wilderness. He went camping a lot and had tons of knowledge on how to survive in the outdoors. In early October of 2024, Dustin set out to camp near Big Sky in the remote Moose Creek area of Montana. He arrived on Thursday, October 10th and built a wall tent setup complete with a stove, beds, lamps, and more. He had planned to pick up his girlfriend the next day so that she could join him in his camping trip. But when he didn't show up that Friday the 11th, she had called a friend and together they went to go see if they could find his campsite and to look for him. The next day, on Saturday morning, October 12th, they found Dustin's deceased body in his tent. The scene was so brutal that they initially thought it was a bear attack. But a wildlife expert ruled out any animal involvement. An autopsy revealed multiple, quote, chop wounds, punctures, and burn marks. This was not an accident. This was not a bear attack. This was someone attacking him. Investigators connected the crime scene to Darren Abbey, who was 41 years old, by DNA from a beer can found nearby. And funny enough, Darren had just been arrested days earlier in Butte on an unrelated probation violation. He was interviewed just 17 days after Dustin's body was found on October 29th, and he gave a full confession. According to law enforcement, the encounter began as just a chance meeting. Darren had planned to camp there, found Dustin's setup, and Dustin welcomed him, even offered him a beer. At some point, Darren violently attacked Dustin, first with a piece of wood, then with a screwdriver to the neck, and ultimately an axe blow to the head. Darren later admitted that he rinsed the weapons in the creek and returned the next day to remove any items that he had touched, ideally erasing all of his evidence. He threw out objects like a cooler, firearm, the axe, plus Dustin's phones and other gear. But what he forgot to dispose of was that beer can that got him caught. Darren pleaded not guilty on November 26, 2024, claiming self-defense, even though investigators say there were no defense wounds on Dustin's body. And he remains in jail on a $1.5 million bail. Interestingly, Darren's criminal history goes far beyond this case. Court documents note alarming behavior at local bars where he made staff uncomfortable and other instances that prompted police attention. Not to mention that he has hate crime convictions in Idaho dating back to 2012. Dustin was a devoted father, a hardworking tradesman, and an outdoorsman with so much more life left to live. He was taken far too young in such a senseless attack. His legacy lives on through his children and the hope that justice will follow. That is all I have on the case of Dustin Kierson. I would love to know your thoughts on this case in the comments, and if you have any other cases you want me to cover, let me know as well. I post true crime videos, so if you like this type of content, follow so you don't miss the next video. And please stay safe out there. You never know what's right around the corner. And don't offer anyone a beer at your campsite, ever. Apparently. That's not even safe anymore either. This mother unalived her own 10-year-old boy and hid his remains in the trunk of her car. This is the story of KJ Higgins. That being said, I do need to give a trigger warning that this video does involve the unaliving of a young boy. Please take care of yourself, your mental health matters. Also, just a quick disclaimer that I'm just a girl, I'm not a lawyer, and all this information is publicly available. Also, this is an active and ongoing case, so all of this information is alleged. It's literally just on the internet. Caitlin Higgins was a 28-year-old woman from Louisville, Kentucky. Did I say it right? I got screamed at last time I said Louisville. Please tell me if I said it right or not. Thanks. Anyways, she was arrested in April of 2021 for the unaliving of her 10-year-old boy, Kion Higgins Jr., also called KJ. KJ was a bright, energetic, and loving 10-year-old little boy. Loved ones described him as playful, affectionate, and full of curiosity, always bringing joy and laughter to those around him. His relatives said that he had a kind heart and a warm, trusting nature. His friends recalled his cheerful personality and how easily he made others smile. According to police reports, Caitlin admitted to using a weapon and firing it at her son, and then placing his unalived body in the trunk of her car. Officers were called to Caitlin's home after a 911 caller called in and reported seeing her with the weapon, also carrying her unalived son's body, wrapped in a blanket. Upon arrival, police found Caitlin on the front porch where there were stains on the steps, and after searching the property, they found KJ's body in the trunk of her car. Caitlin was arrested and now faces multiple charges, including criminal abuse in the first degree and tampering with evidence. If convicted, she could, and should, serve a life sentence. And here's what's super interesting is there was red flags following this house and Caitlin. This case draws attention to what's known as the link, which refers to the correlation between animal abuse and violence towards people. So before KJ's passing, Caitlin had been cited multiple times for animal neglect and had over 20 complaints, which had been made to animal control about her. And studies have shown that homes with high rates of animal abuse also correlate to high rates of child abuse. If my lighting just changed, it's because the sun went behind a cloud. In response to KJ's passing, Kentucky lawmakers introduced Kian's Law, named in his honor, which aims to train animal control officers to recognize signs of child abuse and neglect in homes. The law seeks to prevent future tragedies by ensuring that animal cruelty investigators also consider possible human abuse in the household. Additionally, the Louisville Metro Police Department established an animal cruelty enforcement division to work closely with Metro Animal Services. Caitlin Higgins' attorney has requested a mental health evaluation to determine her competency to stand trial, citing concerns about her understanding of the charges and her behavior during proceedings. Despite his short life, KJ left a lasting impression on his family and his community as a child full of potential and innocence. That is all I have on this case. If more comes out about her trial, I would love to update you guys on it. I personally didn't know about the link, but after learning about it through this case, it makes a lot of sense because a lot of serial start off with harming animals and then making progression to humans. I definitely learned that through Criminal Minds, but it is a true thing. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I post true crime videos just like this one, so if you enjoy this type of content, follow so you don't miss my next video, and please stay safe out there because you never know what's right around the corner. This mother pushed her son on a swing for so long that he passed away. I do want to give a trigger warning right away that this video involves themes of mental illness and the unaliving of a young boy. So if that is going to be harmful for your mental health, please don't watch this video, just skip it, and I will see you in my next one. I also want to give a quick disclaimer that I am just a girl, I am not a lawyer. All of this information is free on the internet and accessible to everyone. That being said, if you know more about a case than I do, and if any of this information is incorrect, please just politely correct me in the comments. Don't be mean. Thank you. On May 20th, 2015, in La Plata, Maryland, a 24-year-old mother named Ronchia Sims was found at a local playground, pushing her 3-year-old son in a swing. But here's the horrifying part. She had been pushing her son, Jair Lee, for so long that he had passed away in the swing. She had reportedly been there for up to 44 hours, just swinging her son's lifeless body back and forth. When police found them early in the morning, they thought it was just a mother and a son playing at the park. But when they got closer, they realized